Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, so in this lesson, we're going to be talking about a specific use case in financial services in a bank for Emirates NBD, one of the top largest lenders in the UAE. And we'll talk about how they applied blockchain for one of their products. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Alright, so what happened was here, Emirates NBD actually deployed a blockchain project on their check system, right? So this was done back in 2018, and what they did was, for every check issued by like a checkbook, issued to their business clients, their corporate customers for Emirates NBD, bankers, business clients who are banking or using Emirates NBD for their banking services. And whenever they order a checkbook, this checkbook, every single check has a QR code printed on top on that specific checkbook, right? So what happens here is this QR code is actually physically printed on every single checkbook. And here's the advantage that this presents for the bank and why they did that, right? So the bank was suffering from major counterfeit checks. Customers were coming in and issuing counterfeit dud checks with payments, and they give it to, let's say, a service provider or a client who goes and pays for a service, and they pay with a check, which is a fake or counterfeit check, and then they just take the money or take the product and leave the country, right? So Emirates NBD was suffering a lot with this, and they were getting a lot of counterfeit check problems within their fraud management department, right? Remember, they have a fraud management department, and a big chunk of their time, maybe about 50 people are working in this department, and about maybe a huge majority chunk of their time are resolving issues related to counterfeit checks or check fraud. So Emirates NBD said, okay, we have to take a look at a specific secure solution which we can deploy on our checks in order to mitigate this problem from happening or mitigate the risks of this problem occurring, which is causing a lot of headache. So what they did was they issued the QR code, they launched a blockchain system, and here's how it works. So let's say you're in Dubai, you want to be able to sell your car, and you put up your car for sale, and you want to sell your car for like 200,000 dirhams, right? So 200,000 dirhams, you want to be able to sell your car. And you get a bunch of buyers who approach you for that car, right? So 200,000 dirhams. Right? I'm not that good writing in the mouse, but essentially that's what it means. So you go ahead and you put up your car for sale, and you get a bunch of different buyers coming in, and they want to be able to buy your car. So buyer A comes up to you and shows you a check from Emirates NBD. Now here's what you can do as a process. You can download the Emirates NBD app from on your mobile, and you can actually open the Emirates NBD app, and you can scan the QR code which is on the buyer's check, right? You scan the QR code on the buyer's check, and then it will link to the Emirates NBD core banking system, and it will tell you and confirm to you that this check is issued by Emirates NBD, it's authentic and an original Emirates NBD check, right? So how does that make you feel as a seller or as a service provider, right? Security, transparency, trust. You're trusting that this seller or this buyer is not using any kind of counterfeit or a fake check to purchase your product or your car in this case, right? Now, other guys coming in with different kind of checks from, let's say, different banks, Rack Bank, whatever it is that you have in the UAE, but these banks do not have this feature of a QR code that can be verifying that the check is actually original and authentic from that specific bank. Now, how does that make you feel as a seller? Would you take the risk of accepting a check other than Emirates NBD as a payment and without having this feature? I wouldn't, because I don't want to take that risk of that check being fraud or being counterfeit or being copied, right? Because I'm going to be losing at the end. The guy will take my car, enjoy it, and he's just going to, leave, skip town, whatever, right? So this prevents a very big advantage, and the same thing happens now. They're actually using different features of this project and adding more to it. which we'll talk about more in detail in the next coming sections, right? So, service features. What this actual service feature does currently with Emirates NBD, a check verification system, and as I just mentioned earlier, now they're adding additional feature to the same project. So for example, check amount verification. You as the seller are going to be able, when you scan that QR code on the check, on Emirates NBD check, you are going to get a confirmation that this account belong to this check, has sufficient funds to carry the amount written on this check, right? This is a powerful feature for them to be able to verify and confirm within the core banking system of Emirates NBD, and it will give you 100% confirmation that this check with the account number has sufficient funds to carry the amount on this check. Basically, you'll be able to scan the check on the face, and you'll be able to see the amount written on the check, and it will link to the core banking system into that specific bank account. It will confirm to you that bank account has sufficient funds to carry the amount on that check to purchase your car. And that is a very powerful feature that Emirates NBD is adding to the check system, which again helps security, transparency, and trust, and improving their value proposition to their end customers, which again improves their value in the market and improves their market share as they grow, because no other bank is offering this at that moment, right? Now, a third feature which Emirates NBD did to be able to even improve that service is check amount on hold. What they're adding is this: when you go and scan the QR code and the amount of the check, it'll confirm to you the person has sufficient funds. You'll have an option on the mobile app, the Emirates NBD mobile app, where it's going to say place amount, check amount on hold, which means the system will go and freeze the amount from that specific account that's mentioned on the check. Let's say the 200,000 dirhams, and that amount will be frozen and held or on hold until you go and cash in that check as the seller. This mitigates the risk of what kind of problems? The problem where the buyer gives you a check right before the weekend on a Thursday, and on the weekend he goes and empties out the amount from the ATM machine and takes your car and travels or takes it somewhere else and whatever, and then you are left with no cash, no received payment, and you have to go to the cops and fill out requests and complaint forms about this, right? Which is a major headache, right? So this confirms to you that even if you receive the check on a weekend or on a national holiday, for example, on Eid break, you will still be able to go and cash in that check after a week or 2 weeks, and you'll be able to receive the funds accordingly, because the amount of that check is being on hold and frozen by the core banking system until it gets transferred and the check is cashed in for you to receive that amount. Now, all of this, and the biggest question is this, right? The main benefits gained from this: reduced cost, customer loyalty and retention, customer acquisition, and quality of services. And I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, guys, and I'll go ahead and continue on in the next lesson. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so let's continue where we left off. Okay, so we talked about the Emirates NBD case and the different service feature which now they are offering as part of the QR code on their check system. Let's take a look at the benefits gained. So, benefits gained, right? So, reduced cost. Now, this specifically mentions that, let's say, for example, in their Emirates NBD's fraud management department, let's say they had like 50 or 70 employees because of solving the problem of the counterfeit checks. Now, with this solution, the counterfeit check problem is now reduced significantly, probably by 90%. So now they can reduce the headcount within the fraud management department and place them somewhere else, more valuable place in different departments. And hence, this reduced the headcount in that department. Customer loyalty and retention. When you have existing customers of Emirates NBD as service providers who see this advantage, they realize this is a major advantage for them. So Emirates NBD retains their existing customers, reduces the customers' churn rate, which is customers leaving them for their competition or for the different bank. This feature gives you and allows the customer to be more loyal and faithful to Emirates NBD, right? Customer acquisition, when you hear different customers of different banks hearing about this specific feature and understanding that no other bank is having this, it will compel them and it will increase the likelihood for that specific customer to go and open an account with Emirates NBD versus staying in his existing bank account. Different quality of services. It's confirmed that the bank has actually taken extra steps to improve their value of quality of their services for their end customers, and of course innovative services to be able to have a market leading position, an innovative position, and maintain their existing market share, or maybe increase their market share by tenfold, right? So the biggest question is this: was it worth the investment? Was this worth the investment, right? And the simple answer is yes, absolutely, because this allows the bank to be able to ensure and protect its own interest and not having to deal with counterfeit or fraud or bad actors who are creating fake checks and selling fake checks to different individuals, right? So this is a message from the COO of Emirates NBD. This initiative will significantly strengthen our risk and security management processes, particularly by reducing check fraud cases, right? That's the COO. And he was very happy that this specific project will reduce their check fraud cases significantly and probably even prevent the different check fraud issues from happening again, or lowering their probability of happening, right? Okay, I'm going to stop right here, guys, and I'll continue on in the next lesson.